All right, so we're recording again with Mattia, but it's been a long time since we had you on. Last time I know you've been cooking a lot in Reweb in terms of features. I'm excited to see what's going on.
Yeah, it's been a while, and yeah, happy to be back. Can't wait to show you how Reweb has evolved. I believe that the last video we did was like 6, 7 months ago, and like the tool was honestly quite different. So yeah, excited to dive in.
Absolutely. So for folks who don't know Reweb, why don't you give a bit of a context to what Reweb is, what you're trying to do at a basic level, and then we will dive into a demo and the features that you've built. We've also had that previous video for folks who want to get to understand what Reweb is. You can watch that video as well. But why don't you start with a little introduction of what you're trying to build, what Reweb is to begin with?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I'll briefly start with how it started, and it started very simple. It was a landing page builder for Next.js and Tailwind CSS, and that could give you code. So, like a framer, but built with technologies that developers love and where you can export code. But yeah, as I said, it's been evolving a lot. Back in the days, it wasn't even an AI product, and now it's an AI force product, especially as an AI tool for designing user interfaces. So you can think of it like a mix between a Figma and vibe coding tools that you've probably seen around. So yeah, we use AI to help you generate, edit, explore designs in an infinite canvas that combines prompting and as well as some visual editing. So you can also have more control over the designs that you're creating.
Okay, that's I remember the point that draw me into using Reweb at the time we were doing a lot of projects and you would as you would start a project with a design in Figma, for example, the way that we did it, there was no um, easy way to translate that into code. And then I saw Reweb, and the thing that drew me most to Reweb was that you could just use it like a design tool, but it was using Tailwind utilities that I know. So I could just, as a developer, it was easier for me to use because I know Figma, but I'm not that comfortable with it. I'm not a designer, but I know Tailwind. So I could
Yeah.
just play around with Tailwind utility classes. And then I had that visual aspect of actually making the design. And it would then translate that into, with a button, to a component in Next.js or an entire app in Next.js, which just made it easy to go from ideation, a design, into Next.js. Now, what you're saying that you have added is the ability to prompt and use AI in the process. Because before I remember, we would just prompt something with V0 as a starter, import it into Reweb and start playing around with it visually so that we don't have to just plug in a prompt every time we want to make a change. It's just easier like that. So now you have made this prompting native to Reweb so you can just vibe code. There's a design aspect, there's a visual element there. So I think that's very exciting. It makes it even better. You also mentioned, I think we touched on the idea that we were able to import or use shadcn components because that's very popular. So it also integrates nicely with shadcn, which is using
Yeah.
Tailwind CSS.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, we used to build integrations with other AI tools because obviously AI is great for building user interfaces. And now we kind of took it a step further. We wanted a whole experience and made this native into Reweb. So you can directly use AI for doing like most of the heavy work that people don't want to do from scratch, but still have the control of visual editing, of like manipulating Tailwind classes, like you said, when it's needed, and just get full control over what you're creating at the very fine detail. And yes, it's built on uh, like the components that you get are just built on React, shadcn, and Tailwind. Yeah, we chose this stack because it's very popular and people love it right now, and it's also what LLMs are very good at and where we can get the most benefit, I think.
This sounds very exciting, man. I can't wait to see it. So why don't you share your screen and actually walk us through building something, maybe with the app and show us around in terms of the features and what has been added, and then let's dive into the demo.
Definitely. So started sharing my screen. Let me know if you see.
Yep.
Cool. Pretty full screen. And yeah, I thought we can build a simple SaaS, like a dashboard for freelance developers that want to track their projects, their clients, their tasks, and so on. So yeah, we'll build like multiple pages of this dashboard with Reweb. Then we bring them over to Cursor to show like how to do the full workflow of design to code.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. So let's get started. Like this is Reweb, and we can see that it's like an infinite canvas UI where we can create different components, we can zoom in and so on. And right now what is different than the version one is that most times we want to start with a prompt. So let's start by describing what we're working. Let's run this prompt and let's wait for AI to generate our dashboard. By the way, the link for trying out Reweb is beta.reweb.so. So the version 2 is currently on beta, and we're progressively improving it, and eventually we'll replace the main product that is on reweb.so. But it's open beta, so anyone can just go on this link and try it out with our free tier. So yeah, let's see. AI is generating our dashboard. We can see kind of in real time the UI that is being built, and let's wait a little bit more until it's done.
That's impressive. And you mentioned, we already talked about this, like these components are shadcn components under the hood. So if you are already working with shadcn UI, what you get out of here, it's already built with your UI stack.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, right now it just generated the design, and we can kind of inspect the elements and click on elements, and we see exactly how this is built. So this is just a card component from shadcn, like you said. This is select, edge, and so on. So yeah, it's literally like shadcn components. So this is what it generated, and it's a good starting point for sure. And we probably want to iterate on it because AI is rarely gonna get 100% what we want. So first, I think I'm gonna we can resize the frame and just like see what it looks like on different screen sizes. For now, I'm gonna keep it like this, and I'm probably gonna delete this last card because I don't think it's needed, and we can just keep iterating a little bit. So there are different ways to edit this design. We can either keep shading and just let the AI work and do work of it for us, or use visual editing, and we'll show a little bit of both. So for example, let's say I want to add like a header on top of the page content. So I can just ask add header on top of the page content, like showing with some breadcrumbs in what page we are, and other information you consider relevant. So again, most times, yeah, I was saying before, like we want to mix AI and visual editing and use the right tool for the right thing. And it really comes down to what is most efficient at the moment. So for generating things from zero, AI is really good. Like that's 0 to 1 phase. It saves a lot of time. But to refine the details, sometimes AI can be overwhelming, and we just want to like do it ourselves. So that's why we believe adding both can be the way to go. So yeah, now I just asked AI to generate a header, and one thing that to notice is that it didn't have to rebuild the entire design. It just like kind of knows what to edit or where to insert new elements. It doesn't have to rerun the entire project, which is something that is been very frustrating for me with like other AI tools. And for when it comes to UI, we want to be fast and iterate fast. So it's important to me to only have to wait for what is needed to be generated instead of like rebuilding the entire UI every time.
Makes sense.
Cool. And yeah, again, we can also do like kind of quick edits. Just select this component, like this chart, and maybe we can just like do this localized edit, let's say. So this is just for quicker things, and we're gonna make sure it's gonna be sure that like only this component, or only this element is being edited. So I'm just gonna say maybe use a bar chart instead of the line chart, and just like this. And maybe I want to show data for at least a year. So these are like kind of very quick edits. We can just like type them in when the component is selected, and save time.
Super cool. I like this native chat functionality where it just eliminates the need to keep describing the context of what you mean, where you mean it. You just select that component and boom, you just explain what you want and you get it.
Exactly. It's also one of my favorite things. Just sometimes just wanna be sure that like AI doesn't mess up anything else. Sometimes it happens that select something, like you want to change something and it does kind of changes in other places, and then it's hard to go back and so on. So this makes sure that like you just edit this one component. So we can do one more thing. I think it'd be cool to add another like data series stacked on top of the current one to like differentiate recurring revenue and one-off revenue, for example. So and let's see. Cool. And yeah, we did it with these quick edits. So this is like the quick way to edit with AI, but we're also able to edit manually for even quicker things. For example, if we want to change the size of this title, yes, sure, we can ask AI, but maybe it's a bit overwhelming if you want to like test different sizes and so on. So we can actually just use design controls. They're also based on Tailwind, by the way, and just for example, select for Excel or 5XL, and this is much quicker to see compared to asking AI, hey, make it bigger, or now actually make it even bigger, and so on. So there's these two ways: either the design controls, they're pretty straightforward for people who didn't know Tailwind, or we can use Tailwind as well, like text. If I deleted the class text through Excel and add like text, for Excel is about the same. Yeah. So
I
yeah,
think
for this,
this is where the combination of what other tools will give you. This is where Reweb shines, that you can visually select an element, just get in there, either use the selectors for Tailwind classes or literally just plug in your utility classes from Tailwind that you know, and it just changes it instead of having to go back and forth with DAI. Now, circling back on the last thing that you said, selecting an element, oftentimes I find myself keep telling whatever agent that I'm working with that do not make any other changes, just do this change, because sometimes it just runs off and does other things. The fact that this scopes it to that one component is nice. You can still go in and do what you were able to do in Reweb before. So you can just select a component and add another div, add another section if you find that easier to just get started. And then let AI go from that point on, or start with the AI and then tweak it yourself. I think this is pretty powerful, man.
yeah, totally. You can also, like you said, we can also like add components uh, manually, like little like blocks. So, for example, if I select this div, we can see on the left like the layers tree. So essentially, what the UI, the code of the UI, just represented visually, and select and insert elements in the middle. For example, we want to add a button, and we can just like click plus. I'll show you better, and we have a different set of primitive components based on shadcn that we can just add manually. We can drag and drop. So the button probably should be here on the right, and we have controls for these components like shadcn props. Like, we can make the variance secondary, we can make the size large, and so on. So we try to replicate what shadcn offers you, but visually editable. Maybe, yeah, let's change the text of the button. This can be like a button to download like this report, and we can just say add an icon. I am being lazy here and using AI. We could totally do it like manually as well, like I just showed you.
Yeah.
But here we have a nice download icon. And we can even explore different icons if we, want to change it. So let's look for download, and we'll see different icons that we can use. So maybe I'll use this one that is solid instead of the outline, and just give it a slightly different look.
I like the idea that you didn't even mention what icon you want. You just said add an icon, and it read the context of the button to see it's a download button, and just added an icon that goes with the download.
Yeah, that is helpful, and that is why I decided to be lazy this time and not like look for an icon manually. But we totally could, like, in the same way, we could just like click here, look for icon, and just do it. So mm, yeah, so this is like we have all the features that we kind of expect as well from a tool like Framer actually. So we can click on every layer and duplicate it or delete it, copy paste styles. So we're really trying to give you the more control we can while still making it possible to let AI do the work for you where
Mhm.
it makes sense. Um,
I love
yeah.
that idea. So let me ask some questions. First of all, I know we have access to the pro tier, but do we have access to this AI thing? Because I know my team is using it. I haven't been in the app recently myself, but like, do we have access to the AI thing today?
Yeah, it's live. Reweb V1 customers or automatically get access to the version 2 as well. And for the new customers, for the new users, we have there is a free tier where you can use some AI with some limitations, and like a pro plan, of course, where you can use where you have higher limits for the AI.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, I don't know if my designer or my developer actually knows about this, but I'll definitely circle back with them because this is pretty cool, man. Right now our process is kind of broken. We sometimes start our ideation from V0 and then plug in some of the components into our project and then continue working from there. Some of the projects start with Figma, some of the projects are just natively in Reweb. Some development job is inside VS Code or Cursor, depending on the developer's preference, and then they're just using Copilot there. So it's broken into different pieces, and we're trying to kind of glue them together. Whereas this one
Yeah.
is just one tool. You have your visual editor, you have your AI prompting. You just do what you want to ideate and to get where you want, and then you can just export it to your code editor and continue from there. So if you're done with this part of it, I want to ask another question about, I remember back when we were talking last time, you were either implementing or it was in the process of integrating Framer Motion for animations in the components. Where is that? How is that front?
Yeah. So there is we do have like frame motion right now. So the AI can generate animations if you ask to, or if it decides that it makes sense to do it. We're still working on the more visual part of the animations editing. However, it's not as straightforward to there's a lot of like parameters and stuff that go into animations. So making like a visual interface for it is like it's not as easy, and like I feel like most users will kind of get stuck in that. So far, like the best way to do it is with AI, but
Mhm.
it is possible for sure.
Okay. And then once we export this, I remember you could export the whole project as an XJS app, or you can just go be specific in a component that you want. Is that the case?
Yeah. So well, right now it's a bit different. For now, in the version 2, we have you can export the full component, like this component. Not yet like a sub component, but it's something that like it's on the roadmap too. We're kind of there's still like some features from the V1 that we're kind of rolling into the V2, and that's one of those. And by the way, like it came to mind now. In Reweb V1, everything was kind of built around pages, but in Reweb V2, it doesn't have to be the case. We can also just design components individually. So if I just want to create a new one, it doesn't have to be a page. It can just be like a standalone component. So in our example, for our freelancing dashboard, maybe we just want to, I don't know, we already have our dashboard. We just want to design like a page with a list of projects. So maybe I can say design a card component for a web development project. And like, yeah, showcase the price, technologies used, and I don't know, timeline. And yeah, this is just like a standalone component, and we can just like create these ones individually. So yeah, it doesn't have to be uh, a whole page necessarily. And again, we could just grab the code for just this component and yeah, bring it over to our code base, which I'll show later for sure.
Okay. Yeah. It's the idea of like an infinite canvas, just like you have in Figma. You have your components, you have your pages, you have your sections. It can be anything that you design, and then you just get the code. You can then take it to your VS Code or to Cursor and then abstract the components away from it, just like how you would usually get in any UI library that you use. All right, cool.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And what the infinite canvas approach is good for, I think, is like experimentation. So what we could do is, maybe duplicate this component and then like make changes and try different versions. Or one feature that I think allows us to do it is even better is what we call variants. And this essentially lets AI just come up with some variations of the component for you
Mm.
so you can test different use cases. So, for example, different layouts or so on. We can give like specific instructions, or we can just kind of let the AI be creative for us. So yeah, this is gonna take a little while. Our AI is, reasoning at the moment, but we should be able to get different options of like what this component could look like. So we have here like a more like a horizontal card version. We have a more minimal version, and this uh, very detailed
Expanded. Yeah.
very, very detailed the card. Yeah. So yeah, this is a kind of very different because I didn't write give specific instructions, but we could also do that and kind of constrain what the variants should look like.
I love that idea. I think it brings the vibe coding to the design. It brings this brainstorming with AI and asking it to be creative to the design process as well, while it's also giving you components that you can just copy paste into your app. So this is pretty powerful, man.
Yeah, I mean, glad to hear that. And but definitely, like this is what something we like really want um to focus on because AI can be very good at saving a brain power for coming out with variations, coming out with different layouts that we didn't think of. And sometimes AI is still not super good at generating like a design that like is 100% like a designer would do it, but still it can save us a ton of time in the ideation and figuring out what we want the starting point to be like, and then like we can customize the details ourselves to make it look more professional. So yeah, we're pretty excited about this infinite canvas approach because it really does bring a lot more to the table. Rather, the version one of Reweb was uh, you were kind of building your standalone project, and that was it, but it wasn't as good for experimentation.
Yeah, it was. This is more design oriented, or it's just a perfect combination or marriage of design and development together. So who is like who would you say is the perfect customer or user of this? Because to me, from my perspective, I think it's best for developers that they're not used to or they're not as comfortable in design tools like Figma, or they often are working with a design that's handed over to them, but it has nothing to do with Tailwind. They have to just translate everything into Tailwind utility classes or build everything from scratch. So this just makes it easy. Um, but I would also see a use case for teams where the designers are actually using this now to design because it gives them that same functionality that Figma has. And I'm sure you're building more features, but then makes the design to development almost instant. So I think it can definitely be very useful for smaller teams where there's not much um, human power or they don't have that many team members, so they can just collaborate more tightly and get from ideation to actual code and development way faster.
Totally, totally. It really does feel like at the intersection of development and design. So we do have a lot of developers using it. Reweb V1 was more focused on developers, and developers can use this where, like, exactly, like you don't want to waste as much time in Figma. You kind of want to, but you do want to have some control over what the design is. So there's a lot of developers that, like, as you said, we are familiar with Tailwind and shadcn, so they want to have something that like feels familiar to them but still be able to play around with design. And designers as well are using this now for ideation, actually. So one feature that little spoiler we probably you're gonna ship probably very soon is the Figma import export. And designers have been using this for ideating designs because AI can help a lot saving time on that. And then eventually you might be able to also bring it to Figma and adjust the details in Figma or import a Figma design into Reweb and use it to go from design to code. So we kind of want to integrate well with Figma to make it easier for designers as well to use this.
Yeah, that's going to open up the door to more users that are actually using Figma in their system now, bring more designers maybe to the ecosystem, or marry designers and developers, or as the intersection, as you said here. Yeah. So other than what you mentioned, what other features are coming to Reweb?
Yeah, so another feature that will be coming soon is version control. So right now we have like an undo redo functionality, just command Z, command shift Z, but we're gonna have a more um, robust version control system. So like every message you send, you want to be able to kind of have a checkpoint and always be able to go back because we know AI can still mess up things. Sometimes you change your mind, you want to go back. So we'll have a simpler way to just go back in iterations to change, uh, yeah, to revert changes that have been made. So that's one of them. Another one is giving more global context. So right now, as we saw, every component is like a chat, but if sometimes I have to re-explain myself and explain what I'm creating, for example, we should be able to give like a global settings of the project where we explain what the project is, and then every component is aware of these instructions. Uh, yeah, so these are the ones that are coming soon, but if we obviously have like a lot in our mind.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea to have a global context where you don't have to redefine what this project is and what you're trying to do, but then be specific in the chat for that specific component. Again, that's another thing that I see myself doing oftentimes. Every time I'm starting a new chat, I'm re-explaining the context of what this project is, what we're trying to do, and then going into the details. So I think that would be awesome. All right, so this is fantastic, man. I feel like the V0 team should buy your company out and incorporate this into their product. So it would be best of both worlds. I mean, some of the features that you mentioned on the version control and on the code prompting side, it's already there, but your visual um, element and ability here is just makes it so much more usable. And I think where it shines is that usually with AI, you just, as you mentioned, it's just a start. So you initiate something with AI and then you take it and you start working with it yourself. Like in other tools, you just have to keep going back and forth. The prompting and becomes hard. So it's oftentimes you just get the initial idea, you bring it back and you start coding. Whereas here, it doesn't end there. You can actually continue visually edit and add sections and whatnot, and then take it to even a higher level before you take it to your VS Code.
Totally, yeah. Actually, like since you mentioned V0, so like I love V0. V0 is great. I think especially great when you want like a full stack app or like a component with functionality, backend, and so on. And uh, but rather, but when it comes to only design, when you just want to do the UI, you don't have as much control. You can't do like some things like I don't know, add a button here, like now having to prompt AI, or see like what the layers of your design are, and also it's kind of slow. Like when you ask for a change, a lot of times it just has to rebuild the entire UI. But it's just because these tools are built for full stack applications. And what we want to do is actually make it super easy to integrate Reweb with those tools. Like I still believe that they should that are ways where they can work together. For example, using Reweb just for generating the UI, and then just copying, like doing like an export to V0, like copy prompt to V0, and use V0 to build out the backend, the functionality, like the logic. So, and V0 also uses the same stocks, so this can work pretty smoothly, I think.
That'd be great. I think on top of what you mentioned, the other way around would also be nice, where you start something in V0 and then you import it here, which already has the logic built in, but then you bring it here to just make the UI or make that part of it the edits faster. So definitely there is benefit in tying into tools out there already. But all right, so this is nice. I'm excited to go and start playing around with the AI and actually talk to the team about this. So we're going to start our next project maybe on this. Maybe we do a video of our own internal workflow using this for our next project. I think it's pretty exciting.
That'd be really cool. Like, let me know if I can help. Let me know how it goes, and yeah, super curious to hear your feedback, man.
Awesome. I know last time we offered a discount for the viewers if they want to sign up and actually use. I want to mention that you can sign up and use it for free to test it out and see if this is the right tool for your team. I know when I tested it out, I was like, yeah, this is it. So I immediately got the pro plan, but you can try it for free. And then, Mattia, do we have a discount for anybody who wants to go to the pro tier?
Totally. I can provide a discount for sure for whoever is watching this video, and
Awesome.
also whoever is watching and is interested, feel free to reach out. I'm Mattia Pomali on Twitter. We might probably in the description. So I'm always happy to chat with people, to answer any questions, to help you on board, and so on.
All right. So I would include all the links and your contact and also the website down in the description. We're going to also get Mattia to have a discount for you guys if you want to sign up to try the pro version. But you can try it out for free. So links are going to be down in the description. I think this is a wrap for today. I'm glad to have you back, Mattia. Nice things that you've been cooking up. Hopefully, we'll see you again in future for more features or an exit that a bigger company bought your company. So thank you very much for coming and joining me.
Yeah, thanks to you. It was really fun.
All right. So that's a wrap for this video, folks. If you have any questions, like always, hit me up in the comments and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
See ya.